This is problem 4.3 from Chapter 4, Brigham and Houston, Fundamentals of Financial Management, Concise 9th edition. And the question we're trying to calculate is the TIE ratio and the return on invested capital ratio after we're given a bunch of information. The easiest way to do these problems is start writing down everything you know. So interest-bearing debt is $600,000 given in the problem. And its interest rate is 7%. So that means that every year the interest expense would be about $42,000. Alright, it's got common stock on its balance sheet of $600,000. Finances only with debt and common equity, no preferred stock, so the interest-bearing debt and the common stock would be the invested capital. $1.2 million. Sales are given at $2,700,000. Tax rate 35%. The net profit margin is 7%. Net profit margin, that's net income over sales. So net profit or net income is 7% of sales, or $189,000. Now the question is, what's the TIE ratio? And what's the ROIC ratio? This is EBIT times 1 minus the tax rate divided by invested capital. And the TIE ratio is EBIT over interest expense. So those are the two ratios I'm asked to solve for. Alright, now I've got interest expense and I got net profit, but I don't have EBIT, but I can back it up. If I took EBIT and subtracted the interest, I would have taxable income. And if I subtracted the taxes at 35%, then I'd have the net income. Well, I have net income at $189,000. If I took 100% of taxable income and subtracted 35% of taxable income, then I would now have what's left over would be 65% of taxable income left over. So that is 65% of the total. That gives me taxable income of $297.69. I can double check my answer, multiply that by 0.35. I actually use cell references just to make sure. Check my math. The $297.69 minus the $101.769 gives me $189,000. I must have done it right. I know that the interest expenses are $42,000. I calculated that. So add the interest expense back to taxable income, and I'll have earnings before interest and taxes. So the TIE ratio would be earnings before interest and taxes divided by interest. And the return on invested capital, if I took my EBIT times 1 minus this tax rate and divided that by the invested capital, And there are my answers.